Hey everyone, in this tutorial I'm going to show you how I mix guitars, like heavy hard rock modern style guitars. I'm going to go through some of the rhythms, some of the leads, octaves, all different layers of guitars and how I mix them in a hard rock mix. So here I have a mix and I'm going to play a little bit of the chorus just so you can kind of get an idea of what's going on, and I'm going to just mute some stuff just so you can kind of just get a sense of what's going on here. Okay, here we go. And here are the guitars by themselves. Okay, so that's the main rhythm guitars. And here is some, like a lead or layer over it. I think when we were tracking this, we used, what did we use? I think we used a mod 900, JCM 900, and just a straight 57 mic in front of it on a 412 cab. I think it was a Mesa cab. And this is the tone that we got. So let's see what we have going on here. So let me bypass everything. And let's listen to it just by itself. First thing you're going to see is that I have Soothe on. Now, this is something I've been doing recently, just a couple of years ago when the first Soothe came out. And this helps just to tame all the fizz that you hear from heavy guitars. But before, what I used to do is I used to try to find the frequency and then just pull it down. So what I would do is, let me just open up and let me just solo just this track and let me just put it up the center. Just so you can, let me play real quick. Okay, so then what I would do is I would just go over here, let me make the cue pretty, and then find the fizz. Usually it's around 4K. I like to sweep around until I find it, and then what I'm looking for is when it gets really loud, like the loudest, and it's just really like ear piercing. That's what I try to take out. Okay, so it lands about there. And not every amp is built the same. So you just can't go to 4K and then just take that out. You have to kind of find the frequency. And for me here, it's 4.4, 4.5. Okay, and then I just pull that out. And I usually do about 2 to 3. No more, definitely no more than 3, but just 2 to 3, just a little bit to tame it. There we go. And then that's it. Sometimes I'll pull a 5 or 6 if these are like amp sims, but since this was a real amp, I just, less is more. So I just don't want to take out too much, just a little bit here. And I'm going to just copy that since it was the same amp that was tracked on the left and right. Okay. And then if I pull this and I play it, yeah, the fizz goes away. So that's what I used to do, but not with Soothe. Soothe kind of does that. It finds it and it does that. So let me show you how what I do here. Okay, let me play it and then just see it, and then I'll show you what I do. Okay, so you see 4K here, and you see all this information here. Okay. So it's pulling that, but it sees minus 3 here. Okay, so it's not doing more than -3. And my settings is I click hard. My sharpness is, it's really sharp because I want the cue to be really narrow. And then the depth is just enough that it's hitting between, around here to no more than 3. Perfect. And then I'm just doing high pass and low pass. All right, so now let me show you what I do here. Here is I just try to make the guitar as bright as I can without it losing its definition. Now, when you're mixing guitars, or when you're tracking guitars, or at least when I'm tracking guitars, I track as if I'm mixing, and then I mix as if I'm mastering. So in other words, when I am tracking guitars, I try to mix and commit as much as I can, so then I don't have to do a lot of work later on. So I want the tracking session to be as mixed ready as possible. So if I hear that the guitars don't sound good, then I try to fix it there or EQ it there. So I try to do as little EQ as possible, but I always bump just a little bit more, around 5 to 8K, and I bump always at 1K. I bump just a little bit more guitars because guitars are mid-range instruments, and the mid-range is, I remember in school, one of my professors said mid-range is muddy, and always, mid-range is really where, the mix will come alive. So I always put it just a little bit more. Okay, let's do it before and after. And then finally, what I do is I compress it a little bit. Now, guitars are heavily compressed already, but I like to use Renaissance Axe for this, and I use the moderate preset, and then I leave everything the way it is. The gain, I just adjust it so I level match it, so it's not louder or softer, so I can hear what it's doing. Okay, so you can see that's a little loud, so I'm just going to lower it a little bit. Okay, that's good. So let me bring the drums in and let's take a listen. Okay, you're going to notice that my guitars, my left and right, I'll show you over here. Okay, see my left and right guitars are here. It was tracked a little bit low. Usually I like to bump this up a little bit, and I kind of like to have it there. So that's 6 dB. But I'll just leave it like this for now. But anyway, what I was saying is that left and right guitars here, you're going to notice that I have them grouped over here. Okay, see my group is here. So for Pro Tools, I like to group them. And then my guitars, I don't send them to a bus. I send them straight to the main mix bus. Right here, the main mix. And so how do I control, if you notice, like if I bypass this plugin, both of them are bypassed. And if I do a move on one, it'll do a move on the other. So I'll show you. For example, this is my left. And then this is my right. So this is my left and right. So if I do a move here, you see it does a move there also. Let me just undo that. See? So it controls both of them. So the way to do that is I'll show you on these next two. This is my left and right guitars. This is my lead. So you notice that if I mute or I bypass, it's not. So let me show you how I group them together. So I select them both, Control G. I'm going to name it Guitars 2. And then see where it says follow global. I remove that because I don't want it to follow my global settings. And then if I go to attributes, here is where I set just for these two. So what I like to do, I like solo. I still like to solo both of them. Pan, no, because I pan one left and one right, and I don't want them both to do the same. Volume, yes, because I want both faders to go up at the same time. Mute, I like to mute things individually, so I never usually group mute. But here in my inserts, so see where it says controls? If I click on this, now whatever insert is on row A, if I make a change on one, it's going to change on the other one. And then if I click bypass, If I bypass one, it bypasses the other. So that's what I do. But I want to just select all of them just in case, because I do use a few plugins. So instead what I do is I hold down Option, Alt, I'm using a Mac, and then I click on it, and that selects all of them. And then I do the same thing, bypass, and there. So now I have all of these selected, I have volume selected, and I have solo select. Everything else is unselected, and make sure that globals is gone. So I click OK. And now if I bring down my fader, both of them move. And if I bypass, now both of them. And then I can also control all of them. Okay, so let's take a look at this here. And basically I mix it the same. I use Soothe here again. Okay, this one you notice is I'm processing a little bit heavier. Okay, maybe I'll lower it just a little bit. Let me see. Yeah. And then if I go to this one, you notice it's -4. See here, -4 on this one also. So if I make a change on one, it changes on the other. Okay, so I like the way that is sitting there. Now here, same thing. My SSL, let's see what I'm doing. Okay, again, I'm bumping a little bit, just a tiny bit, see, 1 dB. In here, I am also bumping 1 dB, and then that's it. Just to brighten it a little bit. And then the same thing here. I can probably adjust the gain a little bit here too. Let's take a listen. Yeah, let's do a dB or so. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, that's much better. Let's blend them together. Okay, that sounds good. Now I do have a third guitar layer here and a solo, and then here is the same thing like I didn't group them. So let's just group them now. Okay, perfect. And if there we go. So now let's go to where this is. I think it's the bridge. Yeah, let's go to the bridge. Okay, and let's take a listen. Oh, nope, it's not. This is, let's see what's going on here. I think this is part of the verse. Let me just mute this. Yep, here is the bridge. Okay, octaves. So in the bridge, I have my main rhythms going here, and then I have these octaves. Okay, so let's take a listen from this part, and probably the bridge begins probably right here. So let's take a listen. Okay, cool. So basically, if you're gonna notice, it's probably almost identical, the mix. So let's see. And that's how I mix my guitars. Until next time, happy mixing.